Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our 2014 preseason NAIA All-American team. Now, there's many great players across the country that are worthy of being on this list, but let's start this video off by taking a look at our first team All-Americans, starting with the quarterback position.
Bryce Baker from Rocky Mountain College put together an impressive 2013 season, completing 70% of his passes for over 3,800 yards and 31 touchdowns. Baker also did a great job in minimizing mistakes, only tossing 7 interceptions on 446 attempts. Now here's a look at the rest of our offensive first team NAIA All-Americans. A lot of great talent on this list. Tevin Lane was a guy that was a preseason football game plan NAIA All-American last year. Very good football player. Donovan Campbell, outstanding tight end out of Siena Heights. But one guy in Jace Billingsley out of Eastern Oregon was a clutch performer last year for the Mountaineers. He led the team in receiving while also showcasing his skills as a kickoff and punt returner. Now let's take a look at our first team defensive preseason All-Americans. Great talent here as well. Phil Lattimore was a football game plan preseason defensive All-American last year. You look at Sean Bloomquist, another guy that was on our list last season. Both guys fulfilled their expectations and put together solid seasons for their respective teams. And Ty Phillips out of Missouri Valley was also a football game plan preseason All-American last year. And he is a former Missouri Tiger that found his footing here at Missouri Valley for the Vikings and has become an All-American. Last year, Phillips racked up 25.5 TFLs and 10.5 sacks and was also named NAIA Defensive Player of the Year. And here's a look at our first team special team All-Americans. You look at Josh Lewis out of Avila, a guy at 5'7", 180, helped put his offense in positive situations, averaging 16.5 yards a punt return while also bringing back 2 for touchdowns. Leading off our second team All-Americans is quarterback Austin Dodge out of Southern Oregon, who threw 7 touchdowns in a game last year versus Montana Western. And when you watch him play, you see a lot of Jay Cutler in this game from a physical standpoint. Dodge will definitely be on the radar of NFL scouts after leading the NAIA in passing last year with over 4,300 yards and 47 touchdowns. And here's a look at our second team preseason offensive All-Americans. Lamont Williams was a football game plan All-American last year. He made it as the all-purpose player. And one of the all-purpose players on this year's roster is Nick Benedetti out of St. Xavier, 5'11", 195. Here's a guy that led his team in receiving with 10 touchdowns. Punt and kickoff returner, he was also the leader and totaled 1,800 yards of total offense. On our second team defense at defensive end is Baker's Andre Jolly, who last season was injured much of the year, but there is no doubt he'll get back to his 2012 form where he was the best in the nation with 16 sacks and 22 TFLs. And here's a look at the rest of our preseason defensive All-Americans for the second team. You look at that front seven, a lot of talent, especially at the linebacking spot when you look at Keith Harris, Jarrett Johnson, and Trey Keys out of Langston. Tremendous football players. But in the secondary, I'm a big fan of Cinquente Marks out of Friends University. He's the NAIA version of former Florida State player LaMarcus Joyner. He can play anywhere in that secondary corner or safety on the boundary in the slot. He's one of the more fluid and instinctive cornerbacks in the country. And here's a look at our second team special team All-Americans. Ray Dukes out of Edward Waters College, the diminutive 5'9", 160-pound junior, is a tremendous football player. Dukes had over 700 yards on kickoff returns, brought 2 punts back for touchdowns, and it's his ability with the ball in his hands in the open field, which is why Edward Waters uses him a lot all over the field on offense. Carroll College's Mike Van Diest makes the list as our head coach. He has won 6 national championships, 4 times have been undefeated, and he has compiled a record over the course of 15 years of 176 and 28. Only one losing season while at Carroll, and that was his first year in 1999. And his 83% winning percentage is 4th all-time amongst all college coaches in all divisions. The offensive coordinator on our team is Southern Oregon's Ken Fosnot, who also coached Tim Tebow in high school. And Fosnot's Southern Oregon Raiders teams are the NAIA versions of the Oregon Ducks and Auburn Tigers because of the tempo and pace that they play with and the fact that they can put up points in bunches. Last year, Southern Oregon averaged 47 points a game. Coach Monty Rowe of Missouri Valley gets the nod at defensive coordinator. His Viking defenses are always in the top 10 in total defense, and 4 times during his tenure, the run defense has led the nation. Head coach Steve Ryan of Morningside is the recruiting coordinator on our All-American team. His Mustangs play in a very tough conference and are always the most talented squad. One losing season in 12 years, and that's a testament to not only great coaching, but top-notch recruiting.